A Ukrainian woman was murdered by homeless men, but some media isn't reporting it. And it's a pattern of being silent when the killer is black and the victim is white, and loud when it's the opposite. On August 22nd, Irina Zarutska sat down on a bus in front of DeCarlos Brown. DeCarlos, for no apparent reason, stabbed her in the throat. This was cold. Irina was a white, blonde Ukrainian refugee who fled the war. DeCarlos is a black, homeless, four-time felon who just left jail. I hate that I even need to mention their skin colors, but I do.
Yes, the media silence on the unaliving of this girl is one of the most disgusting acts of lying by omissions I've ever seen. From the people who gave you the Daniel war to war negative coverage and the Black Lives Matter moral panic. It is true what they say, you don't hate the media enough. This has sparked reactions on social media. President Trump is now reacting to this. Even Elon Musk is now searching like who is the judge? Who allowed this guy to be free? When you take a look at mugshots like this, you can clearly say this man has done a lot, but these people seem not to see.
Irina was a white, blonde Ukrainian refugee who fled. Carlos is a black, homeless, four-time felon who just left jail. I hate that I even need to mention their skin colors, but I do. Because if this had been a white man, a black woman, this would be nonstop national news. And yet, the New York Times hasn't reported on it. CNN hasn't reported on it. MSNBC hasn't reported on it. What do they all have in common? They're all on the left. This is clearly newsworthy. It touches multiple third rails: race, immigration, homelessness, and crime. So why aren't they reporting on it? Because there's a race-based double standard in the media. Now, make no mistake, right-wing media like Fox News and New York Post are biased too. And here's the thing, the media is overwhelmingly left-leaning. 30 to 60% of journalists are on the left. 5 to 7% are on the right. So we're all getting a skewed version of reality. One in which white on black crime is worthy of marching, but black on white crime isn't worth mentioning. Both are equally wrong. But we've been conditioned to see race first and principle second. And it's swinging the pendulum from one irrational extreme to the other. From white people being elevated to white people being denigrated. Meanwhile, black-white race relations are worse than they were at the start of the century. But why should I, a black man, care? Because we all should. We're supposed to be ending racism, not flipping who gets to be racist. And if we don't correct this, many white people will become resentful, and they'll swing the pendulum back to black. We can't keep doing this. In the face of evil, we must let go of racial preferences and focus on principles. All decent people must say, I don't care what color they are.
That is the truth. Before we proceed with this video, this is what Elon Musk said. Let's change the law. Between now and then, name and shame the DAs and judges who enable and robbery, but especially shame those who funded the campaigns of the DAs and judges. That will make the biggest difference. This is coming as a result of someone posting this. So let me get this straight. A bartender can go to prison for serving drink to a drunk person if they drive and unalive someone. That is the truth. So in this case, these judges who constantly do this should be held accountable.
In the face of evil, we must let go of racial preferences and focus on principles. All decent people must say, I don't care what color they are. A person's blood is evil. All humans must say, I don't care who started it. A boy another unarmed boy at a track meet is wrong. All mature adults must say, I don't care how mistreated you feel. A woman calling a child a racial slur is disgusting. In a race war to the bottom, no one wins. The division shouldn't be black versus white. It should be wrong versus right. The media profits from us being divided. But you don't have to play that game. Our empathy keeps getting used to excuse evil. And it's literally yesterday, I showed you how liberal media ignored a black man. Today, I saw the mayor's statement. She called this a tragic situation that sheds light on problems with society's safety nets. Said has long struggled with mental health and suffered a crisis. Said we shouldn't villainize those who struggle with mental health, and that mental health needs to be treated with the same compassion as there was no mention of his criminal record. This is a textbook emotional argument. When someone does evil, we get told to be empathetic. Emphasis is placed on systemic issues outside of their control, rather than the factors within their control. We're lectured about not villainizing them. We get told to call them unhoused instead of homeless, changing the terms instead of fixing the problem. Their choice to do evil gets compared to an involuntary. The implication is the victim, not the villain. This manipulation tactic exploits a logical fallacy called appeal to emotion. It causes us to ignore facts just so that we don't seem mean. It creates false equivalencies, making us think that the mental health of people is as important as the physical safety of their victims. Now, the mayor said she didn't know DeCarlos's mental health record, but we do know his criminal record. Carlos was arrested 14 times. He assaulted his own sister. Under North Carolina law, he was a habitual felon. That should have meant years in prison, but the district attorney didn't do that. Instead, after yet another arrest in January, DeCarlos was held for months, then released without passing a mental health test. He was put back on the streets. And now, a woman who fled Ukraine to escape met it here. The mayor was right about this. We should have compassion even for the worst offenders. Compassion is a virtue because there, but for the grace of God, go I. But compassion without consequences is vice.
When I get offended every single time when something like this happens, the first thing they always play this. Oh, mental health issue, this. The criminal record was there. Like you can see. They didn't care about that. This person was not supposed to be out. Maybe locked up somewhere and they should be looking into his mental health. But nobody did that. Yes, after the Charlotte mayor refused to condemn the attacker, the city may need federal intervention. This is coming from Trump. A question surfaces to him about this. He's like, he's not aware that something like this happened. People were like, oh, why is it that they don't show the president some of these things so he can see what is going on? When you want to intervene to some of these issues, Democrat will rise up like, oh, stop, 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 because of political reasons. Now, look at this. I don't always like to take a situation and politicize. I'm just doing this video so you can see people's reactions about this whole situation.
To do. Trump will do that. And I